All right, yesterday we filled out this graphic organizer to review the exponent rule. It's an eighth grade standard, so even though like for my first few years teaching algebra, we always like spent a good amount of time on exponent rules, teaching every single one. We just frankly don't have time anymore to do that, because we have state testing to worry about and other things you're supposed to learn by the time you leave ninth grade. So this is more beneficial for you guys because we have an extra hour in the day to review these things. Initially, it can seem overwhelming at first. Like, I get it. It's a bunch of rules that I'm throwing at you, but that's why we made this graphic organizer so that you can refer back to it. A lot of the time you will see a bunch of rules at once. Like, it won't necessarily just have you doing the product rule, it might have you doing the power rule as well in the same problem, which we saw yesterday in some of the examples. Remember your order of operations. So like, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or PEMDAS, stands for parentheses or grouping symbols, then exponents, multiplying, dividing from left to right, so that's in the same step. And then addition and subtraction from left to right. So if you see that you have problems like in number 2 over here from the product rule, or let me look at a different one. So problems like number 2 under the power rule, we had to know that we needed to apply the exponent before we multiplied the monomials. Okay, so like just remember that in addition to how to apply each rule. If you get stuck, do let me know. I do think yesterday we made a mistake in this class. I taught it in my 4th hour math lab. But right here for number 2 on the power rule, know that coefficients, like the numbers in front of variables, are not exponents. You don't apply exponents to coefficients. So you treat them like normal. If I have a -2 squared, because this raised to the power of 2 applies to everything inside the parentheses, then that should give me a +4. -2 squared gives me a +4. So I think yesterday we put -2. Just fix that. Final answer should be 4m to the 50. But I think that was the only mistake. So coefficients follow the normal thing it's telling you to do. Only the exponents have these special rules. Now, I passed out a maze to every single one of you. You all have one, right? It looks like this.
Yep.
This is great to practice because usually, like, they'll have some really good distractors. So like, here's my start. These answers that are stemming out from my start are all really good, like common mistakes. And one of them is correct. There's even like these diagonals that are coming out of it. So all of these are really common mistakes. One of them is correct. You have to figure out which one by applying your exponent rules correctly. And as with any maze, sometimes you run into a dead end and then you know, like, I did something wrong. Or you get to another problem and you say, hey, there's no right answer coming out of this problem. Then you know you did something wrong. So you're gonna do this maze. And before you turn it in, I don't know how long it'll take you. It'll feel like an hour, should be enough, but when you turn it in, there's gonna be a folder back there with the answers. Make sure like you check that you're right before turning it in. This will go as an assessment grade in math lab based on work shown. So show some work. Whether you need a separate piece of paper, that's fine too, but show some work. And then the other half of the grade will be on accuracy. So if you notice like, hey, I only did 3 problems and I got to the end, then there's something wrong. Oh, let me just take right there. Okay, so let's get a good start.
So
All right, so everyone see the start? We have -8 divided by 4. What's -8 divided by 4? -2. So the -8 and the 4 are coefficients. You don't want to apply any exponent rule on these. These you treat like normal. If it says to divide, then divide them. But on the variables of the same base, you can apply the exponent rules. What rule do I need to apply for this? What's the rule called that I need to apply for the x's? The quotient rule. All right, that's from your graphic organizer, so maybe have that out to help you. That one says that if I have the same bases being divided, I can do what with the exponents? Subtract them. So then what's x to the 18 minus 6? Well, so I've simplified it. It's the simplest it can go. It does not want you to have any negative exponents either. So this is my answer. Find the one that matches it. It looks like now I'll be heading this way. And now I'll have to do this problem. You have to do it. And then you'll go from there. From here, you have two options. You still need to show work and then be accurate, which you should be checking your answers before you officially. Any questions? No. Okay, as you have questions, do let me know. If you find yourself working on a particular problem longer than 3 minutes, you need to ask for help. Okay, you can't just be sitting there struggling with it. We have other things to do this time. So this will be like an assessment grade and you have to work on it diligently. I'll give you time. All right.